I come from Japan, so it was a long flight. I'm still a bit jet lagged, and I try to keep up with the day. So as it was introduced, what got me here in the first place was this solution that we are developing called Vibe. Just a little bit of a background. I work for an HR company here in there in Japan. And Japan, it's a very local name, not good for globalization. And I'm part of a smaller team. I'm running the innovation lab of that company called AIR, and so we are developing HR tech solutions for recruiting, talent management, anything related to HR in general. So Vibe is one of these products, and it relies on Slack. Have you heard about Slack in the audience? I don't know how famous it is in Germany. Maybe a good 30 to 40%. So it's like it's a communication tool. It's not developed by us. It's developed by an American company, and it's here to cut emails for internal communications. So it's like a chat for companies, and you have different channels, and employees can discuss on those channels. So we use that as data input, and we have some algorithm that analyze what people are saying, and based on that, we can tell anybody if the company is happy or not happy. And until now, like, companies were really interested about this question, like, are my employees fulfilled at work or not? Are they stressed or not? And they've been relying on other types of tools like engagement surveys. But the problem with those tools is that it's usually once a year, it's very costly, and it's survey-based. You can always game the survey. And then you have some software companies that introduce surveys but online, so instead of being once a year, it would be like once a month or once a week. But with a tool like Vibe, it would be real time because we monitor in real time. So we can tell if the team is happy, if the team is unhappy. We can, of course, discriminate by teams. And we go one step further. We also try to analyze which emotion, because happy and unhappy is one thing, but whether the team feels stressed or irritated or disappointed means very different things, and managers or leaders can react in very different manners. So that was the very first step that we tried to achieve, and still like far from being perfect, but we're getting there. The second step for us was to try to understand the reason why people would feel in such ways. So we try to analyze the topics, not just how they felt, but why they would feel like this. And it could be because of the sales KPIs, it could be because the internet was too slow at the office, it could be for many other reasons, but we really try to connect emotions of employees with reasons of discontentment, which usually interests managers better than why people are happy in general. The third step that we haven't been able to achieve is to provide recommendations. So not just telling how people feel, why they feel like this, but what you should do about it. And that's a step that is really difficult to achieve, and that we don't pretend that we can do that at the moment, because it really depends on the organization, it depends on the culture, it depends on the industry, it depends on the organizational structure of the company, and there are so many other factors that we cannot capture with just like simple everyday communication. So that was just an introduction about what we're doing, and I think by working on that tool, we realized one thing is that AI, despite all the buzz about like it's going to replace our jobs, which I believe it's going to be true. Don't know if it's going to happen by 2027, but we are far from reaching that stage yet. I think it has become very, very good at replacing automated tasks for anything related to systematization, but for anything that relies on soft skills, it's still pretty poor. So I live in Tokyo, so we have robots a bit everywhere in the city. And I don't know if you've ever tried to talk to a robot. It's pretty basic, like despite all the advancements in the field. I mean, robotics is very advanced for motion, but when it comes to communication, it's still very far from achieving anything at the moment. So we still have some room to breathe as employees or managers or whatever the position. We're not going to be replaced anytime soon, but I think we are at a turning point right now. AI has been around for many years, 30 plus years. The world has been around, but we haven't seen much advancement, although like it's starting to change The reason being that it's an exponential technology, as it was talked earlier on today. And when you go from 0.01 to 0.02, 0.02 to 0.04, even if you're doubling in capabilities, it just looks like zeros. But once you reach a certain point and you go from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, then you really see massive changes in the economy in general. And I think we are just getting there. So one thing that I see is that whatever AI is touching, it's not replacing what it touches right away. It's first start to assist, enhance. You can see that with automated cars, we don't go from manual cars to self-driving cars. You have many steps in between, cars that can park themselves, cars that can brake when they see an obstacles. For replacing management or any types of job, it's gonna go step by step in the same fashion. So what can it do for managers? I think the very first thing in which AI can really help managers is to provide better information. You have three types of information. You have the known and unknown. These are information that you know is relevant, and you know this information, you're aware of it. You have the known unknown. It's information that you know that it's important, but you don't have the data. And you have the unknowns. These are the things that you don't even consider to take into account to your decisions. The good thing with AI is that it can detect patterns. It's really good at pattern recognition. And as it was said earlier by, I think, Stephen, was that data scientists are here to find questions. And I think that's really, really important because it will raise the right questions for managers to ask themselves. The second thing I think that can help managers would be to filter information. We keep hearing that we are living in the era of information, but I believe it's still an era of noise. We are still not very good at filtering what's noise from what's important. And I think that's another task that AI can really help with. Filter what's really important for you to consider, because you cannot process all the information. Even for the AI, there are lots of information that is not relevant to take into account, and I think AI can also figure that out. Another thing that AI can really help managers with is to compute scenarios. That you may never know all the outcomes of all possible scenarios, but when you have advanced models and a lot of data, an AI can compute millions of scenarios, see all the possible outcomes, and tell you which one is best. Then not only can you do that, but they can advise you on which one is best based on your personal goals, based on your company's culture. That's definitely something, a task that AI can help you with. Human bias, we are highly biased. There are more than 200 cognitive bias. I'm sure there are more than that, but at least that have been listed, from sunk cost to availability bias, over optimism, and many others incurring biases. AI is not biased by definition. I mean, it's purely it's designed for to solve problems. But it's not biased, and that's also definitely something that could improve decision making in an organization. I think also, I think Anna Kaiser was mentioning that as well, is that one big role for managers is to coach their employees. There are many roles that you have to do, but coaching is one thing. There is a very interesting study by Accenture that's listed like the amount of time that managers, whether top management and or middle management, were doing, and you had 10% of their time is dedicated to innovation and strategy. 7%, only 7% on people development. The rest were 30% on problem solving and collaboration, and 54% on admin tasks. That means that more than half of the time that a manager is spending is on admin tasks. And that's precisely what an AI can take over and even do better. Whether it's reporting, taking financial decisions, all of that can be taken over. And so the good news is that it could free time for managers to really focus on people, strategy, and innovation. They could actually spend 3 times as much time on those topics. So will company get more flat with less managers? I believe so. I still believe that in the long run, mid-management will tend to disappear. So far, mid-management is still relevant because you need those layers to manage people, and there's a physical limit to that. If you manage more than 10 to 15 people directly, then you're not really managing them or coaching them at all. It's not physically possible within the number of hours that you have per week. There is also like a scope that you're responsible for in an organization, and that's the way companies are designed today. But if the role of a manager is to take decisions, be the information hub, act as a coach, these are all functions that in the long run AI can do. They can make the information available to all the employees. They can take better decisions, and you will see a lesser role for management. So I want to leave you with maybe like two problems that I haven't found the answers yet, but I think people will ask when AI will be around us. First one being who is going to be responsible? I mean, AI is going to be flawed. It's not going to be 100%. And when AI make a mistake, who is going to be responsible? Who is it that we're going to blame? Is it going to be the AI? Is it going to be the manager? Is it going to be the person who implemented the AI? This is going to be a very, very interesting topic. The second thing is that AI will be, I mean, people will say that AI will take very cold-hearted decisions, not considering human emotions, personality, and that will be a problem for many people. I also believe there will be another school of thought which will actually embrace that and say that it's actually good news that we're not going to have emotional decisions because we don't want to have an emotional manager who's going to maybe like favor some people for the wrong reasons. So that's going to be another interesting debate that's going to rise. So I'll leave you with those two questions. If you have answers, I'm happy to hear them. Thank you.
Well, thank you.